Hi everyone, it's Michael, and this moment has been years in the making. I am referring to the time when I finally divide number 16 in my orchid collection, my Dapper Dots Nicolasa Tavarez Catasetum, and just look at this beast. I have lovingly referred to this plant as Big Bertha for quite some time because it is so vigorous, and when it's in active growth, it is a giant, a titan. In fact, let me just show you some footage of this plant when it was in active growth. This video was taken in September of last year, and you can see just how expansive this plant is capable of becoming. At the peak of its size, this plant stood over 1.5 feet tall and 2 feet wide. Now, as delightful as it has been to watch this plant progress, I definitely and desperately need to divide it because it is becoming so unruly. Let me just take you in on this. Look at all the new growths. Look at it literally crawling right out of the pot. And it's crawling out of the pot so much that it's actually begun to divide itself. This little one was just kind of, I don't even remember where it was on the plant, but I heard a dull thud in the living room and it just divided itself. And you can see when I take you in, this is the perfect time to be dividing the plant because it's not getting wet yet. It is clearly in active growth. So it's about to put down this whole host of new expansive roots. You can see the little green root tips starting everywhere. So this is the perfect time for single bulb divisions. It's a great opportunity to really separate the plant without compromising its momentum. So I'm gonna do that right now. I don't even really know where to begin, but I don't anticipate this will be a super involved process. Again, this plant is already dividing itself, so I think that my work should be relatively simple, and the plant's kind of mapped it out for me already. So I'm just gonna try to create as many single bulb divisions as I can, and then I'm going to keep the best one as my personal division. I'm also delighted to tell you that these divisions are now available for purchase on the newly launched michaelsorchids.com store. To shop, simply head to michaelsorchids.com, then click Orchids. Here, you'll find all of the plants for which I have available divisions. Right now, I carry my Catasetum Dapper Dots Nicolasa Tavarez, as well as divisions of number 28, my Cattleya Purple Blue Hawaii. To learn more about the available plants, click on each individual item. This will offer an expanded description, photo gallery, and general culture requirements. Don't forget to take a moment to shop my hand-drilled glass grow containers or my precision nozzle watering bottles. I will, of course, add a link directly to the Catasetum divisions in the video description below. Now, having said that, let's just go ahead and jump in with this process. I didn't prepare too many things except for this bucket right here because I don't think I'm gonna have to do too much to get this. I mean, it's definitely carefully bound into the container. I'm wondering if maybe I should start with these guys. And you know, I might need a pair of clippers for this. Give me just one moment. Okay, just kidding. I said I wasn't gonna use too many things, but here's some alcohol and my clipping tools. I just like to make sure that I'm extra diligent about keeping my clipping tools sanitary. So I'm gonna let that air dry for a moment. But I'm really just gonna start taking single bulb divisions everywhere they logically present themselves. So you can see the logical cut point. There's one right here. So I'm just gonna cut the rhizome right there. Oh wow, this is nonsense. Wow. There's one, it's a juicy one too. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one here. And it's pretty legible where you should be dividing because each bulb has a new growth attached to it, so you should keep them together, obviously. So this new growth is anchored to this bulb, so I'm going to keep them together. This new growth is anchored to this bulb, so I'm gonna keep those two together. Oh, and I didn't even, look at that, I didn't even have to use the clippers, it just pulled straight away. And I wonder if these two will separate. Yep, just like that, there's two more. This is crazy. This plant has been desperately trying to divide itself. Now look at this one that's just kind of hovering on top. I bet I can just pull this one right away. I'm barely applying any pressure and it's coming right off. Boom, look at that. Wow. And off we go. There it is. There's another. All right, there you go. Wow, there's so many divisions on this plant, you guys. This is insane. I don't even really know where to go from here. Jeez. This is like a Rubik's Cube. I think that this is the next logical one to come off, but it needs to be taken out of the container. Now these ones do get super, super root bound, but the roots aren't, you know, they can be viable for more than 1 year, but generally speaking, the old roots don't matter that much. In fact, I know a lot of growers who cut off all of the old roots every single time the plant goes into dormancy. So let me just see how I can get this out of the container. This might take some time. Here's another one that I just pulled right off. And it's interesting because the aerial root system that it developed to support all of those has now kind of clouded my ability to see where the plant natural division points are. So I'm just kind of pulling out that, and I mean, they're dead. They're dead, dead, dead. So I'm gonna get rid of those. Okay, I've reached a bit of a stalemate with this one. It just does not want to come out further than this. And I do want to give it a really comprehensive repot. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the container wet. Now, a lot of people freak out about this when it comes to catasetums because they say that if the plant isn't ready to receive water, it'll immediately rot. But again, what I've been discovering is that if you sustain a strong enough source of moving air and the plant is able to fully dry, these things really aren't problems. So I'm gonna go ahead and wet the container. I'm gonna pull the plant out, and then I'm gonna let it air dry for a period of time. So let's get started. All right, friends, I went ahead and wet the medium, and look what I was saying. If there were any viable roots in here, they would have turned green, but these ones are all super, super dead. And now I should have a little bit more leverage to wiggle this plant out of the container. I'm just not sure what a good anchor point is because I don't want to snap any of these pseudobulbs as I attempt to get it loose. But I think maybe I'm gonna just kind of wiggle my fingers in under the plant and try to dig my fingers in to excavate it. Oh, this makes me feel so queasy. Any orchid grower, like when you feel that snap of a root, even if it was a dead one, it just freaks you out a little bit. Come on, out you come. I know you love it in there. Out you come. Oh wow, look at that, I made a mess. Oh goodness gracious. All right, now we can just kind of separate it out. Interestingly, even these multiple bulb ones, I think there's a clear division point. So this one kind of tends to group all together, and this one here tends to group all together. So I'm just gonna wiggle along that line. Yeah, that looks great to me. That's perfect. And you can see the ones at the very, very center have dried. So I'm just gonna remove the dead or dying pseudobulbs. Okay, there was only one. And then same thing on this one. There is one that's hard and you can hear it's even kind of crunchy. Remove that guy. Wow, this is nuts. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave these two, instead of being single bulb divisions, I'm gonna leave these as multiple bulb divisions. Wow, this is so nuts. Okay, so now let me count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 divisions of this beast. So one will be kept for me, and then there will be 9 on the orchid store. This is so nuts, and it's gonna be, this plant has been so fun to watch develop, but it has been really challenging to find places for. It doesn't sit well in any windowsill, just because it creates so many different plantlets and like new leaves on this giant expansive vegetative growth. It's just been really challenging for me to find a good spot for it. So I'm really, really looking forward to, oh gosh, I'm just looking forward to seeing how this progresses over time, now that it's gonna be more controlled, and also that I'm having greater success because I'm balancing my nutrient solution with calcium and magnesium. I think that this is gonna be a really beautiful bloom year for this plant. Now, to my earlier point, with these two that I had to wet the medium to get them out, I'm just gonna let them air dry for a period of time. I'm probably actually gonna put them right on the shelves and let the fan dry them, because I wanna really mitigate the possibility of rot. But otherwise, this has been an incredibly successful division. So I desperately need to clean up my workspace, but I wanted to showcase all of the divisions together. Can you believe that all of these resulted from that process? This was one plant. It boggles my mind, but just so vigorous, so happy, so healthy. And with that, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, as always, for choosing to spend your time with me. If you have any questions, concerns, or feedback, go ahead and leave it in the comments section below. Be sure to support one another in the comments section because I'm so seldom available to do so. Don't forget to click subscribe and have a beautiful rest of your day. Mwah! Bye, friends.